Are we live? Hello. Hello,
No,
everyone.
my computer just started doing this.
Oh, no.
It's fine now.
Okay, good. Hey, everyone, we're here. Do us a huge favor and hit the like button if you're seeing this
Yes.
so that it tells YouTube that you want to hear from us.
And I was gonna say YouTube has some sort of new feature where you can like hype something
Oh,
and then it gets pushed by YouTube. And so if you have that feature, I have actually seen it, I think. We would love to be hyped by you
yeah,
as well.
we would love to be
I mean,
hyped. And
and
hello, Angelica. Thank you for coming on the right day. I apologize. I sent out an email reminder accidentally yesterday. Because, that's just how
but it was
life is
one of
going
those
these
weeks,
days.
I think you emailed me on Tuesday saying, "Are we on this week?" And I was thinking, oh no, I thought it was next week. So yes, we are all here. You can tell we are slightly frazzled by this point in the year.
Which I think is the perfect intro to today's
Yes.
topic.
Yeah, I was saying to Trisha, I think you just want a 1 hour therapy session where we all share
It's
how
not completely
exhausted.
wrong.
Hello, Maris, as well.
So,
Um,
welcome everyone. This is our Tricky Thursday live for the month of November, a little earlier than we usually do because of the American holiday Thanksgiving next week. But Charlotta of Charlotta Pattern Cutting School and myself, Trisha of Creative Costume Academy, we like to jump on once a month-ish to have a quick pattern chat, sewing chat. We're always talking about something in that realm. And today we thought this would be a very popular topic. And just from the post that we sent out earlier this week, I think everyone's kind of in that mode as far as how do you keep your Sewjo in the middle of all the holiday buzz? How do you keep from burning out and still, deal with all of maybe you're making things for the holiday season, or maybe you just really need that time in your sewing room to decompress and get away from all of it. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. My name's Trisha from Creative Costume Academy, your pattern nerd friend, as I always say. Charlotta is another pattern nerd friend as well. I come from a background working making costumes for big theatrical productions in the entertainment world, and now I teach mostly online. I have an online school where we have a wonderful private membership diving into all things pattern making, fitting, and sewing. And I'm also the creator and founder of the first ever pattern conference, Pattern Con. And I just bring that up because we had our first year this summer, and we are about to go into ticket sales for 2026 because everybody wanted more, and I'm over the moon about it. But
and you have to tell people who your keynote
I
speakers
just
are.
announced
Might
over
have
on
spotted that
Instagram.
on Instagram.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Let's hear from you, Charlotta, and do your
So,
little
hello,
intro.
I'm Charlotta. I, unlike Trisha, am not a costume designer. I come from pure fashion design, but I always had a passion for pattern cutting and making clothes. And often fashion designers, believe it or not, don't actually like making clothes. I love making clothes, and I like making clothes that fit well, and I love sharing it with everybody. Same as Trisha. So I now mostly teach as well as do a few commissions, and I teach in real life. And I also have an online pattern cutting school. And if you want to join me, I'm doing Black Friday. I know some people don't like Black Friday. I do quite like Black Friday, and I've got a really special bargain, which is gonna be the lowest ever, basically. And then after that, the prices are going to go up. So I'm basically just going to give you like an archive price. So you can join me and we can share the love of pattern cutting. And I've put a link in my description. I think Trisha is going to put it into
I
a
will.
link
Yes, yes.
afterwards. Thank you very much. So, yeah, but
And
I think we're both just really passionate about pattern cutting, and that's why I love these get-togethers,
yeah.
because we have our schools and we love your students. I like them. I was talking, it's quite, I like the privacy of your school because it feels like a really nice place where you come together and it's quite cozy. But I also like hanging out with you on the internet and getting to meet lots of new
Yeah,
people as
new
well.
people. And welcome everyone. Good. I'm glad Mira's happy that it was today instead of not yesterday. And Angelica thought she was late yesterday, but no, you were early. So just beginning to get the Sewjo back, Sue says, "Me too, Sue." And I'm like, "Yay, I'm excited to sew some stuff for myself." what am I getting for everyone else? Is where I'm like, And just I'll piggyback real quick on because um, Steph Sweet Stitches announced my keynotes in the chat, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. But yes, Black Friday, yeah. So Black Friday, look out for Miss Charlotta's special pricing for her private community, and like I mentioned before, PatternCon tickets do go on sale very soon. Our first round of tickets for volunteers, which is they're the same price as the general admission ticket, except you get to be more involved backstage, hanging out with me, extra perks. And so the volunteer ticket sales start on Black Friday as well. The only way to access those is to join the party list, which is also listed in my description. So
And I actually think, especially if you maybe going by yourself, that's be the perfect
oh,
opportunity
it's a
because then
great
you
way.
get to know people already, and you also have a purpose. It's always
Yeah.
when you go to a party and you don't know anything. If you have a purpose, you can get to chat to people much easier,
And
isn't
I've
it?
got
I
a
like
few in the chat, a few volunteers in the chat, and they can tell you they had
great.
a ton of fun as well. So yeah, and then there's people yelling yelling about it. And I'll just quickly say, because I did literally just leak this information right before I jumped on, but we just announced our keynotes for PatternCon. We are going to have the amazing Kenneth D. King is going to be our keynote for Sunday, and we have the Cornelius Quiring, who is, a pattern nerd here on YouTube, quite popular, is going to be our keynote for Saturday night. We're very, very excited.
And I was saying to Trisha before, I love this sort of, because Kenneth is all about couture, and he has like decades of experience.
Yeah.
I love his invisible zipper technique, but anything he shares, it's like high end. And then Cornelia is fantastic at introducing new people to pattern cutting. So you've got that balance perfectly. I think it's sort of getting people excited, sharing the skills, and he makes it really easy, which I love
Accessible,
about
yeah.
his videos. And then Kenneth, that's where you sort of want to be in a decade or so.
Yeah, for sure. So let's jump into what we're talking about today. I know that a lot of people have been feeling this. I've saw several comments like on our post that we posted. I've also had people like hitting me up in my DMs and Instagram going, "Oh my God, this is so perfectly timed. I need this so much." Honestly, I'm feeling it too. That's why I said to Charlotta, I was like, I don't know, I'm feeling the same way. So we love to hear from you guys. And this is not just about us. And especially on something like this topic, I think we can all share our tips and tricks that help with this. But yeah, like fighting the overwhelm. I mean, I think even just as humans living on this planet, all of us kind of get into that holiday hustle and bustle, getting together with family and big events and things like that and everything going on. And then on top of that, if you're making gifts for people, which some of us have done, I've done that in the past. I don't know that I'll be doing it this year. I don't know that I can fit it in. But then that adds to it. And then we don't have time to sew for ourselves, which I don't know about you guys, or I don't know about you, Charlotta, but I seem to always end up on the bottom of my to-do list about stuff that I want for myself. And I'm kind of there now. So I'm kind of been thinking about how do I work it in so that I'm not getting overwhelmed. I'm still getting stuff done that I need to get done. But I think for a lot of us, sewing and spending time in our sewing rooms is kind of an escape. It's kind of our happy place. It's kind of our therapy in a way, or it can be, unless we have seam ripper in hand. But how can we keep it that way and not turn into this place that we dread going? I think that's kind of sharing tips on that.
Sewing can be drudgery, can't it? If it's the whole point is that the end result, what you get out of it, it's like both that you're creative, you're taking time out, and you're also creating beautiful things.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you always have to, like how much of the drudgery is worth, that you get to, it's always to keep in mind you're doing it for a purpose. And also, if it just becomes drudgery, you need to sort of step away for a bit.
Take a break.
Yeah, and I think that's really hard. And I think even if you, you might not be celebrating Christmas, you might be a different country. But I think there's of times of a year where suddenly lots of things happening. There's you're still working full time,
Mhm.
and you might have a big family party or whatever, and you want an outfit for yourself. You want to make presents for others. It's their birthday, and it all comes together. And it's really hard to sort of balance it and keep the joy. I think that's what the hardest thing is about it, because you could just sort of do it, but I think then it's also sometimes noticeable thing if you just do it to, like tick your box, you've done that. Like you have to sort of in a way give that joy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Angelica says my slump happened when my sewing area started to look like a bomb hit it. Walking past it, it was like my inner self said, "Hell no."
Actually, I would love to know a chat about what people feel like that or what they do. And I was gonna mention it because we've had lots of issues with stamps, so everything has been done and put into my sewing studio because it's the only room which sort of has that space. So it's sort of been slowly since the summer. I've been emptying it, but it has been basically a complete state, and it really affects you. So sometimes you
Hmm.
actually need to say, okay, I'm going to take a few hours out and actually tidy things up,
Yeah.
or maybe even finishing the projects. Because I think if you have a mountain of unfinished projects, they're going to look at you, and sometimes it's better just to get that out of the way before you start something new, or even actually hoovering your space, isn't it, and just giving it clean. And amazing, because I was out working teaching a class in my town, and I came home and my husband said, oh, I hoovered your stairs and your studio. I was like, oh, that's lovely, so get somebody else to do some cleaning for me if you
Hey,
can. Just take that
that's a
back.
great
It's
idea.
nice.
That's lovely. I need to get one of those. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so I think yeah, cleaning, I think cleaning for me having cuz also I don't know who said it. I don't, probably like one of those organizational people because when you have a chaotic space, when you have lots of things around in your space, it can be very distracting and kind of sound like, feel like a lot of noise and a lot of distraction. So cleaning, just cleaning itself. In my membership, we encourage people to set goals every quarter. I'm a goal setter, I'm a list writer. So whenever I feel overwhelmed, I just brain dump everything is another big thing that helps me. But when my sewing space gets to looking like a bomb went off, which it often does, if I'm filming or if I'm working on a bunch of projects that are all due at the same time, that's the first thing that I do before I even can dive into anything else. Is I at least put things away and make it look nice and neat so that I have that clean slate to start with. And it helps so much with just that sense of overwhelm. And even it's great if you can do the unfinished projects, or you could be like me and put them in a bucket like that's
Box.
out of
Yeah,
my
yes.
sight.
I think if you put them in a clean box and you put a lid on top, and that's sort of
That's when I
contained.
have time to
Because I
get
was
to it.
thinking, even if you just clean your table, I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah,
makes all the
yeah,
difference.
just the
You have a clean
table,
table,
like
and you
having a
have
clean
just
table.
your pen and scissors, and you haven't got all your different books and stuff, and
Yeah.
your envelopes. It's like little things. Isn't it? We all. I think it's like that balance. And pattern cutters in a way they can be quite very, like organized. But in general, in making, you want your
It's a
fabrics, and
yeah,
you
it's a
have the
creative
creativity.
experience.
But it's that this shouldn't tip into chaos. I think that happens quite often as well. So
Mhm.
then it's just like, yeah, now we need to go back to a little bit more controlled.
Um, Mira's saying, I usually sew for a few friends, but I don't think I'll be doing it this year. Currently, I'm working on an upcycle for myself. It is a beaded top that I bought about 20 years ago. That's awesome.
Nice.
Um,
Present to yourself.
because we look so,
It's
oh, you
important.
guys are talking. I had many projects on the go at once, went to the dollar store and bought more containers so that I had a container per project, and that helped. That's great, Angelica. I actually used to do that when we made costumes. A lot of times we would make, and that's where my mind went with this because I always had lots of projects going all the time. So I would individually like put them in bins. And that's what else I was going to say. If you are making gifts for people, a lot of times you're making similar gifts, and if you can production line them, cut them all out at once, and that's one task for one day, and then do like the next step. Or like I have three projects that I'm working on for some friends. I pre-washed all their fabrics the other day, and I was like, whew, I pre-washed the fabrics. Woohoo. Like I did that one step. But that's again going back to the whole list making. But yeah, having bins, or what we used to do, we had lots of projects for particular shows. We would cut everything up, put the notions, and put them in like a Ziploc bag. And then if we were doing like all these shirts, all the shirts would go into one bin, all the pants would go into another bin, that kind of thing. Also
Yeah, it's a
helps.
sort of it's the same when you're working on different seasons. You always organize it all, and you have your different lists for different seasons because you're always working at least three seasons at the same time. And I think we're talking before live like a really good list as well. And you might have your
List,
tick
yeah.
list you can do today, which might be really specific, like wash your fabric. And then you might also have like a week's list or even a month's list, isn't it? Which might not
Yep.
all get done, but you have it sort of
Yep.
that needs to be done short term and long term. There's nothing better than ticking that off, I
And
think.
I can't remember, I can't pronounce your handle, but it says but you can procrastinate cleaning instead of getting down into it. That's true, but I think that it can also help, and I think some of us think we don't have time to clean because we have so much on our plate to get done, but it can actually kind of clearing your space and organizing your space can actually help you feel more productive for when you do.
And it also, I think, quite a lot of the time, you can think of it as time in your head. Like, yeah, if you've got everything ready to sew and you just have to get a few hours done of sewing, and not so great. But if you're still planning and thinking, then it's actually like
Mhm.
there's a word for it, isn't it? If you're doing like a menial task, you have like more, your brain gets to run, and
Mhm.
that's when you actually sort of start planning it and working it through and thinking,
True.
"Ooh, how does that work?" So you can always still see it as a positive time, but yeah, sometimes you just need to get that slot booked in so you can actually get it done. I was gonna say, of course, there's also things like, I don't know, it's, I call it like you never do it when you're hungry or you're stressed or you're ill, isn't it? So I think it's of being actually in the right space for making presents as well, but you're actually like not leaving it to the last minute, which I tend to do.
Yeah, me too.
So
I
it's
think
not
I
this.
think all of us do.
And what I quite like about some of the traditions, like I think the German, the Scandinavian tradition, where it's not just Christmas, you have the whole of December is sort of part of it. And that way you're sort of getting into the spirit a bit more. So it's not just like you work up to a big day, you sort of spread it out a bit more. So as you're making, like take some time out and actually enjoy, go for a walk, or have like projects like you can do while you're sitting upstairs chatting to friends. You can, if it's knitting or hand stitching and stuff like that.
Yes, like doing it together. I know that sorority, if you guys aren't familiar with sorority, they're a great sewing group that has great merch. They do retreats as well. They also do like a sewing after dark once a month ish. I think they've started doing those again. Those are great to jump on virtually, get motivated to sew. Like I know we have a Charlotte Sewing Center here in Charlotte, and they have like a sip and sew once a month where you can come together with others and do some projects and hang out with other people. Or you could do it on your own, like inviting friends over and like, hey, we're going to
Yes,
work
yeah,
on projects and make it fun. Another thing I wanted
yeah.
to mention, especially if you're thinking about gifts, um, I am a person who doesn't necessarily love just stuff for sake of stuff, which is what makes it so stressful for me to find the right gift for everyone on my list, you know. But I love to travel and experiences. Like time with people is like my favorite thing, and I've had friends and people in my life who are like, how can I give that to you for Christmas? I'm like, I am a big fan of coupon code, like a promise of something later. And so if you are feeling overwhelmed and you're like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to make this thing, I actually did do this for someone once. You can make them like a nice gift certificate and say that you're going to make them a thing at a later date, or show them swatches of something, and that might
Yeah,
be a way
actually,
to save some time and like kind of push it to a later time where it's not so
at the
hectic.
same time, it actually makes it special if you say, like, we go fabric shopping together, or you get to choose your own fabric, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And rather than saying yes, basically,
Don't
you're
We're
delaying
putting it
it.
off.
It's like you're making it tailored to you. So it's actually more
Right.
special. But it was actually really nice because I sent out the email reminder, and Sue, I'm not sure she's watching. She sent
She's
me back
here,
an
yeah.
email. Yeah, I don't know which Sue it
Well,
is.
yeah, it
Sue
depends which
Blair.
Sue.
So yes. But
Depends
she
which.
sent me like some gifts she makes. And I
Ah,
suddenly thought, oh, she sent me a picture. She makes shoe travel bags.
that's a great
And I thought,
idea.
oh, I love it. So I'm gonna ask her if I can steal it. But it's sort
Yeah.
of like, as you said, it's like when you're gifting things, it's sort of like you can make it quite special if it's practical and people really like it. And I think you also, as the giver, I think you have to be a bit not discerning when you say, will these people actually appreciate what I'm making?
Yeah.
So I sort of, I make it for people that I know they will understand it's made for them, and I've put thought in.
Yeah.
Rather than just making lots of gifts, I actually think about, some people won't appreciate something
Yeah.
handmade,
That's true.
but some people really like it. So it's also picking like your audience. So,
I was really
what's
excited
good.
when I went to go visit my family for a really quick trip. I don't even remember, a couple weeks ago now. I've been traveling so much. But my brother-in-law was wearing the hoodie that I had made him. I don't even think it was last year. I think it was the year before. And I was like, "Is that the hoodie that I made you?" And he's like, "Yep, I wear it all the time." I mean, so that's
Oh,
that's really cool, when you
yes.
that's when, as the giver, you're like, "Yes," like you got it right. So that's really cool. I have some other, Kristen, and I figure I almost said something, but I didn't. Kristen said it's so cute that you said Hoover, hoovering. It sounds so cute. The Hoover Company started in her area, vacuuming for those in the U.S.
Yes, yeah. I think the Who was American English. It's like there's a few of these, isn't it? Yeah,
hmm
yes.
We always learn
Please,
something about English.
yeah.
English.
And hello, Laura, as well. Yes, I thankfully have a husband who likes to Hoover, so I don't
Ah,
have to do it.
lucky you. I actually have all hardwood floors, so I don't have,
Oh, have you
it's
got one of these
sweeping and
robot things?
mopping. Yeah, I do have a Roomba, like the robot.
Yeah.
I've been my dog is not a fan.
And
So
cats are too.
it doesn't get used very often. But it is great. I actually loved it because, yeah, that's the thing with hardwood floors, is that dust bunnies are a real thing.
Oh
Um,
yes, yeah. Like 2 hours later, and it's
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
I think there's
Um,
a cat.
let's see. I marked my boxes: project first, second, third, based on priority. I love it. I love that. And then stacked. I'm a big fan of like organizing your projects, like I said. And when I made my brother, so that was the year I made my brother-in-laws. I have two brother-in-laws and my nephew. I made them all hoodies because that was the year I had made my hoodie with the Luterlo system, and I was like, I could just scale up for them. So I like drafted their patterns, and then I cut them all out, and then I made like my sisters each like a top, and I cut theirs out, and so then it was just kind of late nights listening to stories and getting into my sewing, and it was really nice. But you just have to be able to set aside that time. Another thing, that I live in North Carolina and all my family is in California, so I always have to think ahead if I'm going to, because I have to ship stuff, so I'm not like caught
Okay.
in it not getting there in time.
Yes, yeah.
But again, you could do the whole ticket thing for later.
Yes. When you see each other as well, isn't
Right,
it? Yes.
right. Like I have something special. But Sue Cudworth is saying, you're giving me motivation to head home and work on my best, but that means leaving the cute coffee shop. Oh, I
Uh,
understand the struggle.
But it's the thing again, if you have sort of projects, because I used to commute to London for a few years, so it's like on the train. If you have sort of parts of your life, which aren't the greatest, but you can't avoid them. You're sitting somewhere. It's like you can think about, because not everything needs to be done on the machine, isn't it? Have you got stuff there?
Yeah,
You
hand
maybe
sewing
have
stuff.
things you knit or you embroider, isn't it? And then you can finish it at home and stuff.
No, like, and if you're looking for some gift ideas for people who sew or otherwise, we did talk about that last month in
Yes.
our live
And
about.
actually, because you were just talking about meeting up, and if you're in the UK, like I think there's now, because we're not as far removed as you, like the cities are closer together. But even in my town, we're only 140,000. There's sort of a knitting club which meets in a cafe on Tuesdays. The sewing shop where I teach, she runs. Is it called shashiko? You know, the Japanese embroidery.
Soshito, yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
shashiko in the
Soshito,
pub,
which is the
so you
pepper
can
that I
meet
love,
in
but the yes, I know what you're talking about.
something like yes.
I
Where
forget it
you know,
every time. If Patricia Peak was here, she
they
would
do
tell me.
metric Japanese embroidery, but
Yeah,
they do it in a pub. You know, once I think
that's
maybe once a week on a
awesome.
Thursday. And that's really nice. And again, you
Yeah,
could actually say like, oh yeah, that could then become a purse or something, or you know, like something quite small for a gift as
yeah,
well. I think,
yeah.
and I think that's also like I think you have a few special people where you make them quite time intensive thing, but think about sort of things which might be quite small, which don't overwhelm them either. They say, oh,
Yeah.
you know, but they're still nice to have. That's why I'm so thinking shoe bags are perfect for
Yeah, the shoe
traveling because
bags,
it's
that's a
actually
great
really
idea.
practical. Um, but yeah, things like that are really helpful
Oh,
to know all that
Kristen
detail.
says I upcycled a crew neck sweatshirt with a zipper for my dad. He loves it and never takes it off, so I made him another one for his 98th birthday on Saturday.
Oh, that's nice. But that's like someone who
Sashiko.
really
Thank you,
appreciates it, isn't
Fred
it?
Agaf. Sashiko is the
Chico.
Japanese
Okay.
sewing.
Mm.
Um, and is it Lowe's Jess Hema? I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering your handle. I'm thread tracing a hem as I'm watching you guys alteration do Sunday. Ooh. Not sashimi. She said autocorrect. But yeah, you know what? Anytime hand sewing, knitting, crocheting, I don't do those anymore, but hand sewing, I kind of like, I would get to a point, especially if you have several things. And that's like when I used to do a lot more costumes and I was more in the sewing room than I have been lately. It's I would do, like I said, I would do production lines. So I would kind of work on things and then I would save the hand sewing. And you guys, I would be like at a hockey game doing hand sewing stuff. I had no shame. You can do, I was like, hand sewing, I can do anywhere. I can do that while I'm watching a hockey game. I can do that while I'm watching TV. I can do it like if you live somewhere where you're taking public transportation on the subway, things like that. So I try
Yeah,
to
the
think of how I
nicest
can
things I ever
maximize my
saw was
time.
like, because I was a lot of people commute to the city, so financial district, and there was this sort of man, full suited, very respectable, and he was embroidering the most beautiful handkerchiefs. And you
Oh
think like it
wow.
was a contrast, but I was thinking actually that's sort of moving on a bit. One of the things as well, I think there's quite a lot of pressure online. Like everything has to be perfect every year. And I actually think anything like we're saying, oh, I'm making all this stuff that's going to be heirloom and a tradition. I think the whole point is sort of it's spread over like decades. You know what you do. It doesn't sort of always have to happen each year.
Yeah.
So sort of like sometimes you give big presents, but sometimes it might be that you give somebody a hand embroidered handkerchief each year and you give them one and then they build up the collection rather than giving them 10 in one year. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's sort of not thinking you have to give everything that, if you make like making Christmas ornaments, if you do one a
Mm-hmm.
year over 10 years, that's actually really special because then you can look back and see how it's developed rather than saying, yes, I've seen it online, like they've made these hundreds of ornaments, I have to make it all this year, my Christmas tree has to be special and the house has to look amazing and all the presents have to be matching. I think it's sort of maybe taking a step back sometimes and saying, am I actually doing it because I'm going to enjoy it on the day, or am I doing it because I see all these people
Yeah, because everybody else is
doing
doing
it
it.
perfectly?
Yeah, that's a very good thing
Might
to.
just be me.
No,
Okay.
no, I get it. There was something I was gonna say that you reminded me of like doing little gifts and little ornaments, because I haven't made ornaments for people. Haven't gotten to that, but I have had people make ornaments and give me ornaments, which is always lovely. And but I do have a performer one, so now this is kind of more theater-esque, but it could be cool if like you have a sewing, group or something like that that you're always hanging out with, like if you're doing those things. But he did one year for Christmas, and I still have it, and I hang it on my tree every year. He used to hang out with, he was a performer, but he used to hang out in the wardrobe room all the time. And so he collected a bunch of scraps from all of the costumes from the show. And he bought, he just bought like the empty balls, or it was like, it's actually glass, like the ornaments that you can buy. And he filled it with fabric scraps from all of our costumes. And he put like a little quote from the show and put it in there and hung it on a ribbon. And it was so simple to put that together for a lot of different people. And it's something that's so special. I tag him every year, and I'm like, I still got it. That was almost 15 years ago when we were on that show. So something like that, where you can take like, scraps or little bits. It doesn't have to be a lot of like labor intensive work, and it could be just a way to, as a keepsake. But I wanted to, I love Sandra Martin says, also on vacation, also while camping, also anywhere.
Right?
The only thing I miss about commuting, amen, T. Elizabeth. Like,
Yes,
I'm like,
no, it's
I
like
wish I could drive and sew. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it was train. I didn't like the tube because that's just always delayed. But train is actually, you sit down, you got an hour, and you just get to read or do something. And also
nice.
was also before everybody had iPhones, so it was like,
Yeah.
you didn't have that distraction, so you could literally just do stuff. I used to love drawing as well, just because you never have that time.
Oh, and that's another thing. Julie Boardman saying, I'm not really gift sewing, but I'm trying to get some Christmas themed clothes sewn up before December starts. And then I need to address that I don't have any summer wardrobe that fits in Australian summer. Okay.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Wait, different December sewing.
Something very different.
Yeah. Yeah, in Australia, for sure. I have actually experienced an Australian Christmas, and it was so cool. It was very hot. I was in Perth, and we ate, like shrimp and crawfish, a very summery food, and then afterwards everybody went and played cricket, out, and I think there was swimming involved. It was very different. In fact, I have a tea towel I always pull out every Christmas, and it's all the things from Australia. It's like us, Christmas at the beach. It's like, I love it. I just love that difference. But yeah, I do actually want to talk, and I know a lot of people do like sewing up matching pajamas and stuff like that. And again, I think not having them be perfect. I mean, think about if that's what you're going for, and you're going for that photo op, and it's a thing that you do. I mean, my mom ended up getting us all matching outfits last year. They were not the best quality. We had some split bums of the rowdy boys, which was a quick adjust, quick repair on the serger, which they thought was amazing. But we all of us probably never wore those again in the photo app. So, just trying to be mindful of where you put that time. The other thing is, oh, that's so cute. Ashley says her boyfriend and her are doing Christmas ornaments every year of our favorite memory of that year. See,
that's lovely. Yeah, but again, it's like one really special thing, isn't it?
Right. And capturing memory. Like I said, I'm more of a like memory experience, kind of a person. I like those gifts. Not everybody's like me, though. I can say you're going to have those people who want the things. Those usually aren't the people who like the handmade gifts anyway. But the other thing is to, just the reminder that sewing for a lot of us is that kind of escape, that therapy. And if it becomes, I have kind of played this game for most of my life because sewing has been my job, where you just get burnt out and you're like, oh, I don't want to be sewing. And you definitely, when you have free time, don't want to sew something for yourself. But honestly, I've started sewing more for myself, in recent years. And I don't want to stop, like I remember why I like sewing for myself. So, um, I like to have several projects going at once, and I think I'm used to that from my career. And the great thing about having several projects as once, well, it can be overwhelming when you get kind of bored or disinterested in something, or something is frustrating you with something. You can move on to something else and still be feeling like you're getting things done. And that's the great thing about having a lot of different projects going at one time. And I kind of do this thing where again, I make lists like I forget our friend's name who was saying that she keeps everything organized by priority, and I like to have lists of everything that needs to get done, and like all the steps, like pre-washing fabric can be happening while I'm doing something else, and that's preparing me for when I do have time to go over to that. But doing like a couple of steps for other people and then doing a couple of steps for yourself. I mean, even just doing 15 minutes a day on something for yourself can really add up over time, or an hour a week, sneak it in wherever you can. And Brittany J. Jones has a really great thing that she started years ago, and I found that really helpful. She said sew in 30, and I think Alicia, she also did it as well. And she just sets a timer on her phone for 30 minutes. And she says, okay, she's following a pattern. I want to get through the next 3 steps by the end of that 30 minutes. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you don't. But eventually, just doing a little bit of time every day, you will get to the end result, and it doesn't just keep getting pushed off and keep getting pushed off and never getting done. So that is probably my biggest tip for,
Yeah, I think it's rather than saying something, oh, you have to get it done, you make it something in your calendar. So even if you, most of us have iPhone calendars, or, online calendars, you literally have a slot. If you have a job, you could literally say, after lunch, I got the half an hour where I make
yeah.
it.
Or I'm going to wake up a half an
It
hour
doesn't have to be
early
evenings
and do
when you're
that.
exhausted. It could be, in the mornings, it could be in the afternoons. And I think actually sometimes having a time, I always find when I have too much time and things go wrong. But if I just have, often, most of us, I got like half an hour. It's normally 2:30 to 3, and you get so much done.
Yeah.
And it sort of flies past, but you're actually really enjoying it rather than
Yeah, and breaking it up into those smaller chunks, it's not so overwhelming, and it doesn't get so
and you're ticking
daunting.
all boxes. It's like an
Yeah.
achievement, isn't it?
Yeah.
I learned it from my old manager. She used to every morning she used to come in and write down a list, and then like at the end of the day,
Yep.
clear everything.
I'm a big fan. I actually have, even with my team, and we have a lot of things going on with the business. I told her, and my business coach is always telling me this, just get it out. And the great thing about doing it on somewhere digital, on your notes, or, I have a different program that I use. I just list everything that comes to mind, and then I can break it up into like, this is work stuff, this is PatternCon stuff, this is personal things. And then setting aside different chunks of time during the day. This is my sewing time, and then you kind of decide what you're going to do with that sewing time, but that time is set aside for that, which works the best for you. And then also be kind to yourself. Like, don't beat yourself up for, oh, I just can't make it, or I didn't make it. Every day is a new day. So don't beat up on yourself like, oh, I didn't do it yesterday, so I'm just going to give up. It's not working for me. Or try moving it to different times during the day that might suit you better.
I think it's also something which is really hard to learn, because I think especially if as you grow older, you have a lot more commitments in life. So when you're young, I would just say, yes, today I'm going to get that done, and you have you can work till 9 or 10 if you want to. But nowadays I'm like that. It didn't happen today, it can happen tomorrow. It's not the end of the world. It's sort of be kind on yourself and think about, does it really need to be done, or I got some of it done. That's all I think. At least
Right.
if I got something done, it doesn't have to be finished. Yeah, and I have people agreeing that multi-projects do help, Karen is saying. And it's sort of going back, and it might be also sometimes when there's something you have to do, then it makes you look forward to something you want to do, isn't it?
Exactly. It's like a
So
reward. And that's kind of how
yes,
I think.
yeah.
It's like, okay, if I do this pattern adjustment for my friend, can I start looking for designs for the thing that I want to make? Like kind of bartering with yourself a little bit sometimes can
Yes, and
help.
I think it's also making that hour or half an hour really special. So, even if you have like an audiobook you like listening to or something,
Hmm.
when you do it
Yes.
while, or like when it's
Like
actually quite
having your
enjoyable.
favorite drink nearby,
Yeah.
like making yourself a cup of tea and then going into it and making it something that's like you time, that this is time, even if you're making gifts for other people, like this is time that you're using your craft to do something, nice.
And it's interesting because I love vintage sewing books and pattern cutting books, and it doesn't matter what decade it's from. It's always something along the theme that, like from in 1950s, it might say basically get your whole housework done before you sit down at the sewing table so you can enjoy it. It's a reward. And then in the 1960s, it's all about, yeah, it's not just about something you have to do, it's something you do because you can enjoy your creativity and stuff like that. So it's always about actually like doing it as purpose, isn't it? Rather than it's something
And
you
I
added to your list of things you don't
I
want to do.
will say one thing. I don't know if I read it in the is it Atomic Habits or something else, is you don't always have to do everything else before you spend time with your creative sewing. Like you were saying in the book, they were saying clean the whole house and then that's your reward. Whereas I think in Atomic Habits, he's like, because then sometimes you clean the whole house, you're exhausted, you don't have the energy to do it anymore. But if you do the half an hour, gave yourself the half an hour, even if the house wasn't completely clean, then you're more motivated because you're like fueled by those creative
Yes.
juices.
Yeah.
And then if the whole house doesn't get clean, who's you know
Yeah, I always think it's more like that you don't squeeze it in. You do it purposely. So, like you do an
right.
hour or whatever you do, and then you schedule it in rather than saying
Yeah.
it's something I do at the
Yeah,
end,
one day. I think
Yeah, so it's
honestly,
so similar. It's just say certain different things,
yeah.
ways.
And I think that planning, I'm a planner. I know not everybody's a planner, but even like setting it's being intentional about setting aside that time because and I will tell you if you have somebody who can hold you accountable, and this is something that we do in my membership, this is why we have the special project the setting goals. I do it too. I don't get any prize or anything, but I do it because if I tell my members I'm going to do something, then I'm like, oh shoot, I already told them that I was gonna do it, and having like maybe if somebody else, like if you have a friend, even if they're virtual, like they're not in the same city, it's like, hey, you guys want to hold each other accountable for actually getting these 5 gifts made, or I want to make my holiday outfit, can you hold me accountable to it? And that can really help with your motivation as well, because you're like, well, I told somebody else that I would do it, I'm a little bit more inclined to do it. But saying that, I've said I was going to I've been traveling a lot, so pre-washing my fabric for my friends has been my goal for like the whole month. And that's why when I finally did it, I was like, yes. But again, I didn't beat up on myself. I didn't like give up on it. I just kept adding it as that goal. And then eventually I got it. Now I can move on to the next step.
Yeah, and it's so true. Whenever it doesn't have to be formal. But whenever you mention to somebody, you're committing
You're
to
committed.
that, isn't
Yeah.
it? And getting down, yeah. And
Talking
that's what I
about it.
actually love about teaching as well. You always sort of, you have people you're helping, so you have to get things done.
Yeah.
You can't just procrastinate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some comments. It says, oh, and it's Kathy, which is under Steve. So I'll try to remember. This is Kathy. Ashley says, I'm going to get him a microphone ornament for karaoke night we had. Oh, that's so cute.
Lovely.
I'm sewing artist tool rolls for the 2 God kiddos. Oh, that's a great idea. Linda
Again, that's
Ireland.
something you can use remnants,
Mm-hmm.
and you can have fun. But again, it's actually something they will love.
Or like thrifting and upcycling, like what Kristen was saying, just changing things, making something special. It doesn't have to be that you're making everything from scratch either. Like the ornament idea, you can get something and like add a little something or write a name on something and It doesn't have to be everything's made from scratch. I always make winter item, not Christmas specific. Yeah, that's great because then you can wear it, other times of the year while it's still cold. I've been trying to wash
Yeah, I think also that's the thing. If you're making something yourself, like I want to make a coat, it doesn't have to happen now. It's till March or something, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So you can be a little fluid with your deadline.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I've been trying to wash my fabric as soon as I get home. When I see it on the shelf and the inspiration hits me, it's ready to go. Yeah, I am not so good about that.
Yes, wash and press.
But yeah, if you can wash it so that it's already ready to go, that is a good idea. Angelica says, I volunteered for a local school theater Christmas dance. I suddenly got overwhelmed by the very idea of it all. And I realized that it was just there. Wait, I realized it was just chaos in my sewing area. So I had to get to the box system. Yeah. Like I said, I always had my project bins for when we're doing big builds of things. Sometimes my best sewing is when I'm still in my pajamas in the morning. Yeah, exactly. And I'm a night owl, so having that time by myself at night where I don't have anywhere I need to be, any meetings I need to be in, no stores are open, I can't, do anything that I need to do. That's
You
my
be in your
quiet time.
pajamas.
Yeah, I could be in my pajamas. I don't have to have my full face of makeup, so some people are more like me in the nighttime, or some people like waking up early and having that quiet time in the morning. So that's why I was saying, setting aside that time, that 30 minutes, that 15 minute, whatever you can, find in your schedule, and finding the time that works for you on your lunch break or, during a different time of day. I try to get some workout time in, and my reward for working out is that I get to sew. Oh, I love that. I love that
Yes.
idea. Yeah. And having things ready to go, like even if part of that 30 minutes is you cleaning your room and then, all you do is prep your pattern so that the next time you have that time, it's ready to just cut. So when you have that time, you just cut everything out, and then that's all you do for that day. Everything's cut out. I've got all the notions put together. So the next time when I come down here, I can just start sewing, and I'll just do like the first couple steps, doing those things that make it really easy when you do get that time. And it's okay if that's all you do during that time, is prepping, because the next time it's going to be that much easier.
Yeah, and I think it's that actually like you should always treat it as a separate session. So I always do one if I'm filming tutorials or whatever. I do like the day before. I get everything ready, so I can just sit down and do it rather than you just thinking, "Ooh, I try to."
Oh
find
yeah, I
stuff.
need this. Oh yeah, I need that, and then
Yes.
the whole time that you had planned to do, it's all gone. Yeah, I'm not as good about that, but and that's why I like listing out, and even when, especially if you're making your own patterns, you're not going off of instructions. So I like to list out all the steps that need to happen, like I need to pre-wash the fabric. I need to do my pattern. I need to make a mock-up. I need to make pattern adjustments. I need to cut it out. I need to, figure out which buttons I'm going to do. And I put everything on that list. And then when I get into building, it's like, okay, I'm going to build the lining of the body. I'm going to put the sleeves together. Every little step. And I'll tell you, part of it is just so I can cross it off. I'm like, ooh, I did that. Ooh, I did that. I added my buttonholes. Yeah, I did that. And it helps. Every little win that you celebrate helps to motivate you as well. Another thing that I've kind of been struggling with, but I came up with something, and I've already utilized it, and it has helped me to be motivated. I know not everyone is in this situation, but my sewing room is downstairs and like on the way other side of my house. So sometimes, and it's like it's got its own heater and air conditioner, but unless I'm in there, it's not always. So sometimes if I just have like a quick thing I want to do, it's hard to motivate myself to go all the way down there and get everything going and ready to go just to do a little thing. So what I've done, this is actually kind of more my teaching, my office, my film room. I've set up another machine in like a smaller sewing area up here so that I can, if I just want to do something quick, I can just do it really quick here, do a quick alteration or a repair. And I'm more motivated to do it than I am if I don't have to go all the way downstairs. So
yeah, and it is sort of, because I did it recently. For some reason, I was working in a different room. And it's like completely different ambiance. You're thinking, ooh, it's like
Yeah, it's
really
like
nice.
new and
And having
interesting.
different, like, yeah, like a new place sometimes really hard. Rather than you're like, if you're in a rut and you're getting sort of annoyed,
Yeah.
get your sewing machine, whatever you're doing, and go to your kitchen table.
Or
You
go
know, if you
camping like
work from your
Sandra.
kitchen table, take it, somewhere else.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just like, yeah, fresh air, different room, different light as well,
Mhm.
because that makes all the difference.
Yeah,
Like,
I do
yeah,
that. I do that at night. Like I work most of the time during the day at my desk here, but if I have to like get into more emails or more strategy things, then I'll take my computer, which I know is different, but I'll take my computer to my kitchen table. And if I'm working later at night, for some reason that helps me stay motivated instead of just being chained to my desk all day. So same
yeah,
thing with sewing. Or if you have a space where you have to put things back away all the time, maybe you can leave it out for a certain amount of time. Now, it might depend who you live with
depends who is in your household.
and how okay they are with that. But like what can you do to make it easy so that you're basically like tripping over your projects and it's like, all right, well, might as well get in some 10 minutes, or make it really easy for you to get to your stuff so that it's not such a chore. I think it helps a lot with overwhelm.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's sort of always little bits, and a lot of the stuff, of course, is easier said than done. But hopefully,
Of course.
some of the things we said might be helpful. And I think we should also finish off by saying that we don't always probably follow our advice. So
Absolutely.
it's really hard. And
I think
actually,
uh,
yeah, I think I had like maybe last month where I just found it really hard. So what I actually did is, because like with lots of things annoying me, I just started, when you have that box of things you haven't finished,
mhm.
I just started every day I get something out and I do 10 minutes doing that
Yeah.
and just finish it. And even if it's not perfect, it's done, or I have another step. But it's just to sometimes get you going, because I think this might be very specific to us because we both do it as a living. But I think you go through phases when you're teaching
Mhm.
and making stuff for others. It's really hard to get inspired for yourself,
Yeah.
and it's probably the same when you're making lots of presents for others. It's really hard to take the time on yourself. So I was the met rut where I was sort of really enjoying what I was doing for other people, but not for myself at all. And then it's just, even if you get yourself going, like something you can do easily, you know, finishing a hem, all these sort of things,
Mhm.
then at least you start getting in the space again. As you said, like you had years where you didn't really sew.
Mhm.
And I think you go through phases as well. And sometimes you have to be kind to yourself, say, yes, maybe I just take this year off. And,
Yeah.
next year I'm back on it.
Yeah, and I think it's a natural thing for all of us. So I hear this question come up a lot. I know Sue and I have been talking about it. It's like, how do you overcome, burnout, basically losing your sojo, and just I think it's important to give yourself like that time. We're not supposed to go 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 go. I mean, we're in such a hustle culture, especially here in the US. I can't speak to Europe. I don't know. I don't live there, but I think we are told as a society that we need to be productive. We need to be doing something all the time. And when it's something like your craft, something that you love, when you do lose that inspiration, when you do lose that motivation, you feel like, what's wrong with me? Have I lost it? Is it never going to come back? It's just kind of a natural rhythm that happens, even if you're not sewing for a bunch of other people, or you're not sewing for teaching, which is exactly what I've been coming out of. I've been doing so much teaching that I've been doing class prep and things like that. It's like the last thing I want to do is think about something for myself. But I actually got inspired by something, and now I want to sew for myself, and I still have 3 projects I need to do for some other people. But it's okay. And like, again, that's why I said be nice to yourself. Maybe you do need to take a break. Sometimes, when you're working on something is just not working, like the best thing to do is walk away from it, go do something completely different, like watch a favorite show, watch a movie, read a book, and then you'll want to come back to it, and you'll come back with fresh eyes. So same thing with feeling motivated. I think as creative people, we're worried that it's going to go away, that we're not going to have that creative spark. Oh no, I'm never going to feel like I want to sew again. But usually what ends up happening is if you do take a break from it, like just do other things, that motivation does come back, because you're like, oh wait, now I really want to make this thing, and you come back. But if you continue to try to push yourself to do it, I think it just leads to more burnout. So just
And
really
it also,
being,
I think, it's like things start to go wrong more and more. And
yeah,
you make stuff because you think you should be making it. And then the outcome just makes you even more depressed because
yeah,
it's not what
it's
you
not working,
thought
it's
you
not
should.
clicking.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of times you will be more productive, meaning things won't be, you won't get as many mistakes, or you'll be able to move quicker because you're feeling more inspired by it. So it's important to take breaks from time to time, and it doesn't mean that anything's wrong with you, or that that you worry that it's never come back. Honestly, as creative people, as artists, I think that's when the ideas and the inspiration comes, actually, when you're away from it, when you're not so in the weeds and like into it and thinking about all the deadlines and things. So I just wanted to also offer that, because I think a lot of us, we beat up on ourselves like, no, but I need to be making something. And asking yourself, even if it's something that I always make myself a winter outfit, but maybe if so much is going on, maybe this year you don't make a winter outfit, or you make something small, like gloves or a scarf, something quick and easy, and you're like, that's all, and being okay with that's what you can get done for this year, and just taking that pressure off of yourself. Or like you said, maybe your winter outfit doesn't come till January because you have more time and you're focused on being there with family. So I just wanted to offer that as well. I've got
Yes.
W Design said she made bowl cozies last year and everyone liked them so much they requested them this year. Yeah, sometimes,
What is a bowl
you don't know what a
cozy?
bowl cozy? They're awesome.
Oh, for a bowl to eat.
Like a warmer.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Okay.
love those things. I actually have some that my friend made for me, and I absolutely love them.
Have you got teapot cozies as well? Do you have them?
We don't have tea. I think you
You
guys drink a
don't,
lot
yeah.
more tea than
Yeah.
we do here.
But they're very cute.
And we don't have, I know I actually am a tea person, but I do the electric kettle, and not like a teapot on the stove. Is that where
No, 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 no. You have electric kettle, but then you put it in like
a fancier tea
a
thing?
porcelain teapot, and
That's real
it's like
fancy,
pretty proper.
Charlotta.
And that's when you have your tea cozies and
Sounds
stays hot.
sounds very British.
Yes. I will
No,
bring my tea set next time. I actually haven't got cozy. I need
you
to maybe
need
get
one.
myself.
Okay, so anybody
Yeah.
who's got Charlotta on her Christmas list.
But actually, because I've been here for a while, but when I first moved here, I found some really nice hats in a charity shop. They were sort of 1970s green and orange. And I sort of brought them home and said, I don't understand why they got weird slits where the ears are. I don't understand what it's for. And when I think my mother-in-law said, it's actually a tea cozy. That's for the spout and the handle. But I was thinking, oh yes, it's like a perfect hat.
So maybe I've seen one and not even known that's what it was.
Anybody worn them? Yeah, they come like people make them as houses and like embroider them beautifully.
So
It's like a
cute.
real culture.
And it
But
keeps
you can also have
keeps it warm.
knitted. Yes.
Interesting.
And when the foreigner will come and just try it on the head.
And I also want to mention this. Thinking about sewing is still sewing in my book. Looking through vintage books, like looking through Pinterest, trying to like figure out what you want to make, looking through patterns, that still counts as sewing. And I think it's part of the making, right? So if you're like, all I did was search Pinterest for a half an hour, but you found some like inspiration, some things to draw from, that's still being productive. And maybe that's all you have the energy or time for. But I still consider that as a step towards, you actually making your project.
Or sometimes, yeah, and like going through a book you like, all this sort of stuff, just like, or looking at pretty stuff, as you said. I think like that you get in a nice positive mood again. And Laura, who is from Yorkshire, who's the proper English, she says she doesn't have a tea cozy either. So I think, Laura, you definitely need a tea cozy.
Yes, you need a tea cozy.
Being of a county of tea, Yorkshire tea, so.
That's right.
And you have it in the US as well. Yorkshire tea.
Yes, we do. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can get
okay.
Yorkshire tea. I just love tea because there's just so many different flavors that you can
Whole
get.
world,
The
isn't it?
ritual of it, I really, I have friends that we hang out on Tuesday nights and do puzzles, and we always have tea. Like we have dinner
Oh my
first,
God,
and then
yeah.
we make tea and then get into the puzzle. It's my
Yeah.
favorite.
And but it's like making gifts such a practical, isn't it? It's a bowl cozy or
Right,
a
the
tea
boat,
cozy,
yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, things that people actually use. And I don't know about you guys, but I like it tickled me so much that my brother-in-law was still wearing his hoodie because I'm like, yes, like things that people actually love. And Lucia, yeah, thank you for telling me how to pronounce your name. Lucia was saying, I pre-wash all fabrics as I get them before I store them. You are more on the ball than I am, my friend. And then thanks so much for all the hints. Oh, she's going to go and work on her vest, Miss Sue. Started
Good.
using notes on my iPad to note what I need to do next on a project. It helps me pick up from where I left off. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of making lists. And Angelica
Yeah.
says, I have actually been brushing my teeth at night and strolled up to my sewing area because the idea just came to me.
It's good.
Change to an easier project. Yeah, that's why I like to have several going at one time.
Well,
Mira's,
I've been sharing on my Instagram. We had a frost, and where I am, we quite often don't get a frost. So I've been spending just
yes,
so
making your
patterns.
covers.
But again, it's completely
Mindless.
brainless. So it's actually when it made me want to do something else.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like projects like that where you do it blind, such or
Mhm.
you can do it in your
Don't have to
sleep.
think a whole lot about it.
Yes, yeah.
When I can't sleep, I just try. I just give trying to go back to sleep. Give up on trying to go back to sleep. I go into my sewing area and work on something. Oh, that's a great
That's
idea.
really good, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I actually sometimes when I can't sleep, I go through my head the process I have to do. It's like counting sheep. That's what pattern cutters is. You say first I have to trace around the borders block.
Or
I'm gonna do it.
yes, like I said, like I was gonna say, like just writing out a list. Like if you can't sleep,
Yeah.
because a lot of times I don't know about you guys, but when I can't sleep, it's because my brain is like, I have to do this and I have to do that and I am because I'm always doing a bazillion things. That's what I often complain to my business coach about. I'm like, oh my God, how is it all gonna get done? And I'm overwhelmed. And she's like, have you made a list? You just have all of that swimming around in your head, and that's overwhelming you. But once I get it out of my head, and then I can start planning time in my calendar, then it puts me at ease. I'm like, oh, okay, there's a time designated for when I'm gonna do that. And then I'm not as overwhelmed. So that's definitely an overwhelm. And also, a lot of times if I'm feeling overwhelmed like that, I make a list and I also check in with, have I eaten today? Because a lot of times I'll be like, I'm hungry. That's part of the problem. Yeah. And lots of people still working on Christmas gift. I promised my sister last Christmas. Been there, Debbie. It's been the monkey on my back all year. It's almost done. Congrats on getting it almost done. I think as long as you give it to her before Christmas, it still counts.
Well, but I've got one friend, and we always do our Christmas meetup end of January. And that works really well because then
Yes.
after Christmas, I'm just a bit more motivated.
Yeah.
And you have more time.
And that's so funny. There's encouragement happening in there. I love it.
Good.
And Angelica says she's a Brit living in Canada and she has a tea cozy.
There you go.
Oh, and is it Karen? I think it's not Steve. Kathy. I use my tea cozy for my coffee pot. Hey.
Oh yes, multifunctional.
Yeah, and Ashley says she has never done this before, but she's trying to do batch cutting for a few patterns. And what do I think of a batch cutting? Yeah, I'm a huge fan of batch cutting and putting projects together so that they're just, because I don't know about you guys, but cutting is my least favorite part of sewing. I would rather pattern. Honestly, I would pattern all day and I would love, I do and love to, but not always for my personal past that, like even on the sewing part. I like patterning the best. I am a pattern nerd, but patterning second would be sewing, the actual, not the finishings. I don't know why, like buttons and buttonholes, hooks.
I know, because they always take forever because you've done all this
And all the other
and
stuff, or like doing the hem. I'm like, I'll get to it. But the cutting, not my favorite part. So I'll try to like batch that out as much as I can so that it's just
And
ready
I also
to
think
go.
when you batch it, you get better at it because you're cutting out the same piece
Right.
five times.
It goes
so
faster.
It gets faster and faster because you know how to cut it out.
And that's why I call it production sewing. But, if I'm making, a bunch of the same things, even if they're not the same size, but you get faster at it. It's faster than sewing it individually. It seems like it takes a long time sometimes, depending on how many things that you're doing, but it actually works faster because you're sewing the same thing over and over. By the time you get to your last one, you're like doing it a lot faster than you did your first one, and then you go back to the next step.
And you can also get into the mood where you literally don't even keep your thread. You just stitch one bit after another.
Oh, yes. Big fan of chaining all my projects together.
Yes.
When I've got to sew 35 bodices, I'm like, yeah, we're not cutting threads. We're just going to figure out how to do it.
But again, that's actually really satisfying.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, I can't believe it. It's already been an hour. I'm always like, can we talk about this for an hour? And it's like, we could keep going. But thanks you guys so much for your tips, because like I was saying to Charlotte, I was like, I don't know how many tips I have. I really need help with this myself.
Yeah, we can just share.
We're all sharing our experiences. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much.
Yes.
We did plan a date for December, and I have it all the way over there. Do you have it? Because we were going to do it a little bit earlier. And are we doing it here? Or are we doing it on Instagram?
Maybe even, maybe do it on Instagram. We said maybe the 18th of December.
Okay. Yeah, because December gets tricky because of Christmas.
Yeah, the Thursday after is Christmas Day, so.
Yeah. Yes. Not. Yeah. So next month will be early again as well, a little earlier, and we might do it on Instagram, because then we've done this in the past where we can pull up people to hang out with us and have a little holiday party. Yeah, little holiday party. So think about that if you'd like to join us. If you're not already following us, we are both on Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, then we'll probably see you in January. When we come back to YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know whether you need to be signed up to watch it or not. You might still be able to watch it.
If you're not on Instagram, I think you have to be on Instagram.
Yes, probably.
Yeah, because I think if you're not on Instagram, you can watch reels and things, but a live.
Oh yeah, they're really mean, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. But yes, thank you guys so much for all the tips, sharing your tips, sharing just. I think it's just good for us to commiserate that we're all in the same boat. You're not alone. Yes. We're all going through it.
You can feel sometimes you're the only one who can't do it. I think we're all there to a certain degree. Yeah. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Sue is saying happy Thanksgiving to our American friends for next week.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Going into that. And don't forget, Black Friday sales for PatternCon tickets. So get on the party list. Our party list will close on Thanksgiving. So make sure you're on the list if you are interested in joining us as a volunteer. And Charlotta's got that great deal. So definitely check that out.
Today, and it's going till just after.
Okay, so they can get in today. So yeah,
yes,
go check it out.
So I'm opening it early on here. Officially, it starts on Monday. So get yourself an early deal. Get in
before everyone else.
And Laura is now making a tea cozy, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, Lee said that she made a tea cozy years ago, and many years ago, and she still uses it. So
yes, it's just like, again, but it's sort of, if you know somebody loves tea.
I bought a hand warmer when I was in Prague from a fabric store, and I still use it. It's my favorite hand warmer. It's got little magnets in it, so I can have it attached to the hood of my for oven mitt.
Oh, okay. I was thinking.
Yeah, sorry, not a hand warmer. Oven mitt.
I thought you were talking about a muff.
Right. Gloves. Yeah, no, I said the wrong thing. But an oven mitt, and it was so great. It had that heat, preservation stuff on the inside, and it had these cute things. And I bought it, and it had magnets, and so it just sits. I use it all the time. It was my favorite. So, coming up with. I'm sure that wasn't super hard, and you could make that for a lot of different people, and just kind of batch them and do that quickly. I try to do that. Whenever I do make gifts, I'm like, what will all the boys like? What will all the girls like?
Yeah, think about
so that it makes it a little easier on yourself. And a lot of times accessories are great, because then you're not worrying about fitting and sizing and things.
I think clothes is only for special people you know well as well, because it's I've got one friend, she gets a top every year from, So it's, but most of them, you sort of think, it's very personal, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it has to be somebody you know quite well.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see you next month. And yeah, happy
Lovely to
holidays. We
chat
can
to
do
with you.
this.
Yes, yes. Take some joy. Enjoy
Yes.
this
Yes.
lovely time of
And
year
make
as
time
well.
for yourself as well. That's important. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.